Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. And boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Please like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter. Leave that donation for that fried rice and chicken wings. Boom! Aggression will be the key. But the thing is to understand when it comes to aggression in boxing, is it an advantage or is it a disadvantage? Because when you look at Beterbiev and Bivol, I keep hearing people say, "Oh, Beterbiev is the aggressor. He's going to bring the aggression. He's going to bring the intensity." And you know what I say? I say, "Hey, look, yo, subscriber, you're bringing the ticket to the goddamn stupid to the conversation. What have y'all been watching to think that the only aggressor in this fight is Beterbiev? Bivol is very aggressive. Bivol's not in there just looking to coochie coo and play it safe. He ain't Devin Haney. Bivol is looking to take your damn head off. So they're both very aggressive fighters. So when you bring that together, you're going to get fireworks. But when it comes to talking about aggression, man, I just think a person cannot understand the kind of boxing that Beterbiev and Bivol do without understanding how aggression, I think, is really going to factor into this fight and whether it's going to benefit them or not benefit them. Because look, boxing, especially that Russian style of boxing, you move my microphone, it is indeed associated with, the sport as a whole is really associated with aggression. Some people don't agree with it, but it's violent. And the ultimate objective is to beat your opponent till they don't want to fight anymore. I mean, it's just to hurt them, knock them out. If the referee doesn't get involved and he's letting you beat on them, you can kill him, right? That's boxing in a nutshell. And the thing about that is the aggression. That's what boxing fans love to see, and even the casuals, in particular, they start to find the sport attractive and start to fall in love with it. That's why fighters like Shakur Stevenson, even Devin Haney and some of these other ones, they catch flack. Floyd Mayweather too, because people want to see aggression. They want to see knockouts. They want to see violence. And Bivol and Beterbiev both bring that to the sport, and they're going to bring that into the ring this weekend. Now, I've seen some people in the comments, man, and there are many of them that say, "Hey, look, we like different aspects of the craft." In particular, when you're looking at Bivol, we like his beautiful movement. We like his long jabs. We like those combinations. And then, conversely, there are other people like, "Yo, hold your horses, McNicholas. We love to see violent knockouts. We like to see when the head nearly falls off the goddamn shoulders of an opponent." So when they start talking that, they're like, "Yo, Beterbiev all the way." But the bottom line is, this ain't nothing new. You can go back since the Jack Johnson era shit. I'm going to just say ancient times. And, the crowd always erupts and roars and is more engaged when there's violence, because that's what people love to see. When there's that aggression, because that's what people love to see. And that hasn't changed. I mean, that's how it is today. And that's why this fight is so much anticipation, because of the aggression both of these guys bring. And they're both going to be looking to knock each other's heads off. Beterbiev is known more for being a heavier-handed power puncher, but Bivol is known for having an aggressive style, throws a lot of punches, and he can get your ass up out of there too. So the reason I'm doing this video is because I just think it's one thing to be a good boxer, but there's been so much talk recently about boxer, the boxer puncher, the brawler. I came up with the boxer runner. But the bottom line is, I think the style, no matter what your style is, I think one has to be extremely aggressive, extremely mean, extremely cruel to really get fans to support you. And I think we're actually going to get that this weekend. You're going to get two fighters in there that have no problem being aggressive, being mean, being cruel. And they will beat each other until the referee comes in and stops it, or one of them ends up without a pulse. Now, for me, man, I've been observing boxing for a while, just like a lot of y'all, man. I've been in the ring before, sparring. A lot of you guys have. Some of you guys have fought as amateurs. Some of you guys have fought as pros. Other of you haven't done shit, but you appreciate the sport. There's nothing wrong with that. But to really understand Bivol and Beterbiev, you got to look at understand their brains, man. Like psychologically, what's the deal with these guys in aggression? Because like that shit's not a simple language, man. Like I really watched these guys even when they did their face-off. Like there's a type of psychology behind the mentality of these two Russian fighters. And a lot of people can say, you know what, aggression is just aggression. But I think it's more than just coming out and just wanting to be violent. I think it's a bit more with really, it's like me, right? There may be a pit bull loose in the front yard. And I have no problem being aggressive towards that pit bull and hitting him with a rock. But then there's a psychology where someone's like, okay, hitting that aggressive pit bull with the rock's not enough, even though he's no longer a threat. They go get their gun and come outside and they shoot him 200 times. That's a psychological break in judgment. Like that's somebody who's a lunatic. And I think with these two guys, they have a little bit of the lunatic in them. They have no problem in their mind. They've already got the mental okay to go and hurt someone else. And some people could say, "Oh man, the hood champion, it's not like that." No, it is like that, man. And I just think when these guys and they come out of that Russian amateur system, I just think that's the mentality and that's what they're surrounded by. And I just think once you start to understand that these guys from young kids and growing up in that Russian system of boxing, they're taught to not love. They're taught to not disappoint when they get in the ring. They're taught to not fear when they get in the ring. They're taught to be aggressive and to destroy him. It's just like goddamn Drago and Rocky, man. Destroy him. That's really how these guys are trained. Now, where it could get crazy is where you see like uncontrolled aggression. Now, you haven't seen it with these guys, but you have seen it in fights before where a fighter loses their cool and they just start to go out there and just fight. The game plan goes out the window. And that's when bad things happen. A good example of that is where you had Teofimo Lopez when he fought Kambosos. It was uncontrolled aggression. That's why Kambosos was able to put the bing-bings on him, the Aussie bing-bings on him. Another good example is Zab Judah when he fought Mayweather. Once Zab started to kind of lose control of the fight, that uncontrolled aggression kicked in. And Zab is a good example of uncontrolled aggression. And you just saw what happened in getting overwhelmed and allowing his emotions to take control. He lost control of the situation, and most fighters who have uncontrolled aggression, they end up losing. Now, what I will say is, right, I can understand. I want to see what's going to happen with Bivol and Beterbiev. Who gets hit really hard and ends up where they feel like they're getting humiliated because the crowd's going to be going crazy. And I want to see if they can keep a clear head and to try to really get back into the fight and try to regain some control over their opponent. Now, I don't know, because I don't think I've ever seen these two react that way. But I don't think that'd be particularly useful for these guys to lose their cool, man. I mean, because neither one of them, like I watched the face-off, they don't seem insecure. They don't look like they feel, powerless. They both look like they're just exuding confidence. And like you can really see, like, if one jumps, the other one's gonna jump too. Like, and I think that originates from the training and what was instilled in both of them. You got to understand, they're cut from the same cloth, people. This isn't a UK fighter and a Russian fighter. This isn't a guy from Uzbekistan and a guy from Philadelphia. This ain't a guy from China and Japan. No, these guys are both from Russia. They're cut from the same goddamn cloth. They're on the same national team together. So they're going to have a lot of similarities. Style's a little bit different, but the psychology and the aggression they have, that has been ingrained into them since they've been little kids. And if they're not that way, being tough and rough and aggressive, and Russia, from my understanding, that's seen as like a sign of weakness. And I'm going to tell you from my experience, being over there in Japan and Korea and China, and being in gym sparring, yo, they beat the shit out of them kids, man. If the kids aren't doing what they're told and screwing off and they're not showing that aggression and all that, they beat them. I saw that shit firsthand. This ain't no secondhand information. I saw that shit in Korea and in Japan. Beat them little kids. Little kids, I mean, like, 12, 11, 10, 11, 12. They beat them with the mitts over their head, I'm telling you. Crazy shit. But the guy pulled me aside. The Kwang Jong Nim was his name. He was just telling me, like, he just said, different. America, Korea, different. He was just trying to say culturally we're different, and for me to not feel uncomfortable. Because when they did that shit, I stood up. I think I was taking off my shoes. I stood up, man. Like, I ain't never seen nothing like that. But anyway, those kids were vicious, I'll tell you that, and it's because of that training. And they don't tolerate weakness, man. It's like a real disrespect to their country, man. But anyway, I just think when you see guys like this that have that controlled aggression, they're allowing their emotions. This I think is important. When you can allow your emotions to direct your actions and end up being successful. That's controlled aggression. And that's what these guys have been taught from little kids, man. It's easy to get caught with a punch or miss something. You know what I'm saying? It's easy. And when you're super aggressive, those things can happen. But they've both proven that their aggression has not been detrimental to them. Their aggression works for them. And a real good example of a fighter with controlled aggression. I think you will all agree on that. Now, of course, Bivol and Beterbiev have controlled aggression, and they've been highly effective. But to me, the best example of that is Iron Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson, man, the whole boxing world would tell you, extremely, extremely aggressive fighter, but was controlled when Customato was around. But you saw what happened over time with Mike Tyson. That controlled aggression that got him so much success and got him the hundreds of millions of dollars. Over time, because of his aggression turning from control to uncontrolled, even though that's kind of just how he was naturally wired, it was a deadly weapon for him, it also led to Mike Tyson's demise and losing. And a real good example of that was when he fought Holyfield. He just lost his goddamn coolness, man. He just went berserk, bit the man's ear and shit, and then he ended up losing the fight. Lost his composure, man. And I just think this weekend, I don't think we're gonna see that. I just don't. Look, aggression is associated with these fighters, man. I mean, it's just what it is. I mean, you watch them, they're both being aggressive, but they're cool, calm, and composed at the same time. You know how difficult that is to be aggressive but cool, calm, and composed? To be thinking firing on all cylinders. I mean, if you can master that, I mean, that's like the ultimate, man. And the better you're going to be in that ring. And you got two guys who do that. That's what I'm saying. It's a goddamn 50-50 fight. But anyway, man, boxing's a violent sport. I just think you need to be aggressive sometimes to win. I mean, a scared man can't win. That aggression is necessary. What they say, chances make champions. Greater the risk, greater the reward. It is what it is. But I don't know, man. We'll see what happens. The thing about these guys, don't expect anyone to try to provoke the other one. Like, this isn't Tyson Fury Klitschko and shit. You know, Tyson Fury Usyk trying to provoke, trying to get under his skin, trying to do shit in the ring with silly antics. These guys here are strictly business, just like EPMD. They're not here playing around. You know what I'm saying? They are not here playing around. These guys are two dangerous individuals, two Russian killers. And they're coming to come forward. They're coming to fight. They're coming to cause damage. They're going to come to score points. They're coming to engage in battle and at the same time using their offense as their defense to minimize the risk of getting caught or doing something dumb to all of a sudden in the heat of the fight, they get hit, hurt, or possibly knocked out. One fighter who had really, really, really good control of his aggression, and it reminds me of both of them, even though the style was a little bit different, is Floyd Mayweather. You watch Floyd, cool, calm, sticking to the plan, but then he was very violent, going forward, trying to land, score points, and just controlling his aggression to a certain extent until he had the right opportunity and the advantage to possibly try to get you out of there. So taming your anger and stuff is one thing, but let's just wait and see what happens in this fight, because I think people are underestimating Bivol, saying that Beterbiev is the aggressor, Bivol's the runner. That's bullshit. They're both aggressive. Don't get it twisted. They're cut from the same goddamn Russian cloth. These guys are Russian killers. They ain't here to coochie-coo each other. They're here to put that bing-bings on each other. Anyway, aggression will be the key. I don't know who wins. I'm just being honest with you. Kind of leaning to Beterbiev, but I don't know, man. I can see Bivol winning this shit. Anyway, I'm about to go exercise. Keep cool. I'm in the breeze.